it's not tell people what to do. It's not explain every answer to every question. It's really listen. And honestly, as a leader, you're only as good as the people that work for you. So if you're focused on what you're trying to achieve as opposed to getting your people to focus on what you want to achieve, right? To me, it's not about you. In fact, if it's about you, you're not going to be a good leader.
Yeah.
Positively West Virginia is powered by Breezeline high-speed fiber internet and sponsored by Highmark West Virginia, Freedom Key of Morgantown, Interaction Media, and Storymaker. With the help of these sponsors, we are able to share the positive business stories of West Virginians, including the one featured in today's episode.
Folks, we're visiting today with Morgan O'Brien. He's the president and CEO of Hope Gas here in West Virginia. Morgan, thanks for being on the podcast today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here and hopefully share a little of our story.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad you're here, and I'm excited to learn more about Hope Gas. Tell us about what you do there, Morgan.
Yeah, so we have what I think is a funny story. We're a 125-year-old company here in West Virginia. And this past year, we were voted a new company of the year in Morgantown. So I tell everyone,
Morgantown Area Partnership.
Yeah, which was a great honor. But I think it tells a lot about the company. It's been here in West Virginia for generation and generations, and yet it's had many different owners. And depending on who owned it, sometimes it had a different face. So our face really began. It's coming up on 2 years, September 1. Our first day that I was in charge of Hope Gas, and my team really took ownership of Hope Gas, was September 1, and it was 2 years ago, and it was literally the day of the backyard brawl, where Pitt and West Virginia's football game came back on the calendar.
Yeah.
And it was funny, Jim, as we were getting ready to close on the transaction, I kept hearing, the backyard brawl is coming back. Well, the one thing that we were bringing back was the name Hope Gas. It's funny, 125-year-old company's been here forever. The previous owner was Dominion Energy.
That's
and
right.
They had really rebranded the company Dominion Energy West Virginia. And it's funny because I don't know who does branding studies, probably somebody a lot smarter than me. And they decided to change a 120-year-old company's name. And I don't think it ever resonated, particularly with the employees, and even, I'll just say, generally people in West Virginia. Yeah. So when we were coming on board, we're bringing back Hope Gas. That was our storyline. And at the same time, we were bringing back the backyard brawl.
In Pittsburgh.
So one of my great stories, we had a big closing dinner when we bought Hope Gas. We rented out Stage AE, which is an amphitheater right next to the football stadium.
Yeah. Great venue.
Yeah, and we invited every employee of Hope Gas. So we had buses, 2 tickets for every employee. We had an old-fashioned tailgate party before the game, and everybody got to wear Hope Gas T-shirts because it was the first day of bringing the company back. And I'll never forget, and I truly will never forget, walking in the stadium with 500 of my new employees all wearing Hope Gas, proud as can be, in Pittsburgh, right? The biggest rivalry of the football season. And it really had a special feeling to it.
Yeah,
and everybody's joy and excitement of being able to, use the name Hope Gas, which meant a lot to people here in West Virginia.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you're from Pittsburgh. You were born and raised in Pittsburgh, so it was kind of bringing Hope Gas back to your hometown a little bit.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool, Jim. And one of my stories has been that I'm the newbie here in West Virginia, and I think a big part of what I do is learn and listen. And so I've been learning a lot about West Virginia and how special it is. And, I've become, in a short period of time, not only I call it an ambassador, but actually trying to be a spokesperson for the energy industry, for, the areas in West Virginia, to try to promote West Virginia. I've just, in a very short period of time, have grown to love not just West Virginia, but the people here as well.
Yeah. So Hope Gas primarily is a local distribution company for gas here in West Virginia. How many counties do you serve? What's your geography look like?
Yeah, so in that 2-year window, we've grown. We've actually grown. We're up to 38 of the 55 counties in West Virginia.
Yeah.
and I say we serve, well, by the end of this year, it'll be about 140,000 families.
Wow.
In those 38 counties. We have 7,000 miles of pipe, which is hard for any of us to imagine. But I tell people, if you put a piece of pipe in the Jersey Shore and ran it end to end to the California beach, that's 3,000 miles. So if you did that twice across the country and back and a little bit more, that's how much pipe we have
Amazing.
in West Virginia. So it's a lot.
Wow.
We have a lot of pipe here in West Virginia. West Virginia is energy rich, natural gas rich.
Yes.
So as you could imagine, this is a great place to be if you're a gas company like us.
Yeah, and thank you for providing that, because we all like to heat our homes in the wintertime and cook our meals every night, and Hope Gas definitely makes a difference in the community. Morgan, tell us a little bit about how you got started in the industry.
Yeah, so I've been in the utility space a long time, and I just one time I was CEO of the electric company in Pittsburgh, Duquesne Light.
Duquesne Light, of course.
Spent most of my career there. And then I started hearing about something called the Marcellus Shale and how it was going to change our region, not just Pennsylvania, but Ohio and West Virginia. And so I left Duquesne Light and went over and ran People's Gas, which is a gas utility that actually had a small service area here in West Virginia. And so I ran that for about 10 years, and I started to get a glimpse of West Virginia by having a small piece of it here, and I was always drawn to it. And then our company got sold, and ended up sort of finding an investor who I partnered with, and now came in here to West Virginia because of, I'll just say it, all the opportunities that I saw for years here.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Great background. When you meet somebody for the first time, what do you tell them that you do at Hope Gas?
I'm actually the cheerleader. I see myself as somebody who, really, and I think it gets down to who we all are, right? It's to listen and learn from the people that work for you. And I just say it in my words, I always try to help them become the best version of themselves, right? And I say, if you have a company where everybody is the best version of themselves, that's an incredibly powerful business. So honestly, my goal is I try to challenge people. I try to paint a picture of what can be as opposed to what is, right?
Yeah.
And then I allow them to think about how they see that, and from their perspective, what does that look like? And then encourage and challenge them to actually make that become real.
Absolutely. How many employees does Hope Gas have here in West Virginia?
So I'm proud to say when I came here, we were just over 300, and 2 years later, we're around 550. So we've added 250 jobs here in West Virginia, good family sustaining jobs, and something I'm really proud of.
Yeah, that's amazing. I always talk about the heart and soul of West Virginia as small business.
Yep.
That's typically defined as less than 500. So you're not a small business anymore, right?
No,
you're that
we
mid-size.
jumped over the edge. Yeah,
that's great. Well, Morgan, thanks for sharing with us sharing that story with us. This is Positively West Virginia. We'll be right back.
Your prescriptions are designed to keep you healthy, active, full of life. At Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, we're making vital medicine more affordable. Because when your prescriptions don't cost an arm and a leg, you can use those limbs for something more meaningful. Because life. Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, West Virginia.
At Freedom Kia, you'll find the perfect ride and savings for your summer adventures. This summer, dive into savings and fun. Just down the road is the Aquatic Center at Milan Park, where you can cool off and have some fun.
Committed to fair pricing, excellent sales, and service with no hidden fees. You'll love the all-new 2024 Kia Sportage X-Line all-wheel drive leasing for just $239 a month.
So whether you're diving into savings or fun, Freedom Kia and the Aquatic Center have got you covered. Visit Freedom Kia today, right off of exit 153 on I-79 in Morgantown.
Folks, we're visiting with Morgan O'Brien. He's the president and CEO of Hope Gas here in West Virginia. Morgan, what would you say is the thing you're most excited about for Hope Gas, your company, right now?
So one of the things I'll just say the history of Hope Gas is it's been a big part of West Virginia. And it's as simple as when West Virginia does well, Hope Gas does well. And so I'm incredibly optimistic and excited about the future, not just for Hope Gas, but for West Virginia. Yeah. And I think what's really powerful for people that work here at Hope Gas is that we all feel like we're something bigger than we are, because we can play a part not only in, and I'll just say, the success of Hope Gas, but we can play a part in helping drive West Virginia forward. Energy is such an important ingredient in manufacturing and technology and artificial intelligence, all the places people are talking about the future of what this country and the world is going to look like. Yeah. And West Virginia being energy rich makes it really prime to have as many of those businesses here. On top of, right, you've got an incredible workforce, you've got some people that just have incredible work ethic, and then you just look around and you say, where do young people want to go? They want to enjoy the outdoors. They want to be climbing mountains in the wintertime and riding rapids in the summer, and West Virginia has that and more. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think we talk about the abundance of energy. We talk about when I think of Hope Gas, I think of it as a company that is really in tune with the environment, right, and providing energy in a responsible way. Can you talk a little bit about that and your philosophy?
Yeah, and I'll just say it this way: it's actually not Morgan O'Brien; it's actually my employees, right? Mm-hmm. So I describe, as I said, I'm learning a lot about West Virginians. People here in West Virginia they're the true environmentalists, right? They are typically a lot of folks raised on farms that were in the family a long time.
That's right.
And they're taught, right, how to value the soil, right, how to make sure that land is in better shape for their kids and their grandkids than their grandparents left it to their parents.
Exactly.
And the same with the streams where they fish. They value and treasure how important keeping that fish and all the wildlife, prospering here, and then the air, right? There's nothing better than mountain air, and so I sit there and say, true environmentalists. I mean, that's the definition of people born and raised here in West Virginia. Yeah. Who else would you rather putting a pipe in the ground and making sure your house is warm than somebody who was raised as a small child?
I love that. Yeah. And you're exactly right, because that's those your team, your people. Yep. Have a vested interest in more ways than one.
More than the business. It's their lineage, right? It's their family.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. What's the most interesting thing you've seen since you've come back here to West Virginia and have been leading Hope Gas? What's one of the most interesting things you've seen out there in the field?
And I'll just say it this way. What I'm struck by is, and we talked a little bit about this earlier, that there's so many incredible things here. And it feels so obvious to me because I'm new. I have my eyes wide open. I'm listening to people's conversation, and I don't feel it throughout everybody who lives here. I feel like it's everybody sees the challenges they have and they focus on those as opposed to all the incredible things down here. Mm-hmm. So I'm incredibly excited about the future of West Virginia. I think this is a great place to invest. I think it's a great place to raise your family. I think it's a great place to go to school. I think it's a great place to work and begin your careers and to let those careers flourish, all here in West Virginia. Yeah. So I think it's just being incredibly bullish on the state, and one that I feel like part of my job is to point out those, I'll call it the attributes that make it special, the opportunities, and really try to bring some, I'll say it, some life to that the better days are ahead and actually create some action.
Yeah, absolutely. You and I were talking right before we started recording about opportunities for our young people. Yeah. And how I'm kind of on a personal mission of keeping our young people here in West Virginia and pointing out opportunities just like they have with Hope Gas to work here and maybe start a company that could come alongside Hope Gas and be a vendor, a provider of services. What are your thoughts on that?
So we are, and I as I mentioned to you, I think it's part of what we want to be our legacy here at Hope Gas is that not only is thinking about the next generation of jobs and people being here, but that we actually played a part. And so we are in the process of building a world-class training facility in Clarksburg here in West Virginia. And it's not only going to teach people, I'll call it the fundamentals of the gas business, just how to fix a leaky pipe, how to lay pipe, how to check a meter, how to go in a house if there's a gas leak. We're also going to be doing things like blending hydrogen with natural gas, the future of energy, right? We're going to have fuel cells in real homes, we call them mini homes, on our training facility, and teach people about new technology. So it's not only educating my workers of today, but also thinking about what the world looks like tomorrow. And for us, one of our first missions is to partner with the high schools here in West Virginia to show people, whether it's a technical job that doesn't necessarily mean a college degree. It means, coming and getting educated and learning a trade, and becoming a skilled person, or becoming something, that requires a college degree, but knowing that there's opportunities here in West Virginia. We want to attach and really partner with a lot of, I'll say it, the high schools here in West Virginia. We want to early on have training programs, have summer internships, let people see that there are real jobs here. And I've actually been challenging other people in my industry to partner with us on that mission, to make the workforce as big as we can and to create as many opportunities. So parents, when they think about their kids, when kids are dreaming at night what they want to be, staying here in West Virginia and really working for a company that really is important to the future of West Virginia feels like a good place to start.
I love it. Now, I got to ask you a question. Is the LNG, like liquefied natural gas, is that still a thing for vehicles?
Yeah, so it's funny, right?
I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I think what's taken over the vehicle industry, and it's real obvious, is electric vehicles, right?
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you two things about electric vehicles. One is there's a Honda and LG are building a battery plant right outside Columbus, Ohio. We actually have operations there, and we're going to serve that facility.
Amazing.
That facility, which will produce the battery for the electric car, uses more gas to manufacture the battery than the entire state of West Virginia to heat every home. It's energy intensive, right? So we're excited about electric vehicles, right? Because they use a lot of gas just to make the battery. And then if you think about the world, right, our electric needs are growing. Everything in the world wants to be electrified.
That's right. Yeah.
And we've got all the coal plants here in West Virginia, which is incredibly important. But as we grow and need more energy, right? Why not natural gas, right?
Yeah.
It's clean, it's affordable, it's plentiful. I tell everybody, your lights can go out from time to time with storms and trees falling. Your natural gas never goes out. It's on all the time, right?
Yeah,
so
it's amazing.
The combination of that, I feel like the electrification, at one point would scare the gas industry, but actually for us, it's something we need to embrace because it's going to require more gas, not less.
Yeah, amazing. This is Positively West Virginia. We'll be right back.
My name's Caitlin Furby. I'm an interior designer with Remarkable Interiors. Our time is very limited. We're trying to do everything we can possible to keep our clients' projects moving and rolling. So StoryMaker has been really great for us for putting out how to explain our company. I can sit and agonize about a post and is this right? Does this sound good? When I use StoryMaker, it sounds so beautiful and it was so easy and it saves me a lot of time to do the things that I'm really good at.
Stay connected with an unbeatable deal from Breezeline. Get reliable, fiber-powered 500 megabits internet for $39.99 per month with a $100 gift card and price lock guarantee, plus a free modem, free installation, and free Wi-Fi your way. Folks, here at Interaction Media, we're a media company, and we rely on high-speed internet every single day to get our jobs done. That's why we use Breezeline. It's affordable, it's fast, and they're awesome people as well. Learn more at breezeline.com. Folks, we're back. We're visiting with Morgan O'Brien. He's the president and CEO for Hope Gas here in West Virginia. Morgan, I've enjoyed our conversation so far. What's one of the biggest challenges you face in terms of growing Hope Gas?
Yeah, for us, I mean, the real challenge is just, getting people comfortable that, I'll just say it this way, that economic development, bringing manufacturers, bringing advanced manufacturing, artificial intelligence, I'll say the energy intensive industries here to West Virginia. One of the challenges is, a lot of people have I'll say it, seen it, but they didn't feel a part of it. They didn't see the benefits to them. And so one of the things we're being very purposeful is to, one, educate people on the opportunities to grow here, but also to engage with people in the communities to make sure they feel a part of that growth. And that's why, you know, going back to our, you know, partnering with high schools, being part of a technical program statewide that allows kids to say, hey, if we can grow the energy area, these are real jobs for West Virginians.
Embrace what you have right here, right?
And I feel like it's incumbent on leaders like myself to make sure that people in those small towns and those communities, not only is it something they're reading about, but it's something that's impacting their lives in a positive way.
Yeah, they can be part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good. What's the vision that you have long term for Hope Gas? What's that look like?
Yeah, I mean, we want to see West Virginia grow, and we want to grow with it. It's pretty simple, but energy is such an important aspect to business, and we know it's energy rich here in West Virginia. We know it has all the ingredients to grow and to, I'll call it, bring businesses here. I had an experience with a business that's a fuel cell company that we're going to do partnerships here in West Virginia. And I tried to convince them to come to West Virginia, and I brought them down here. And it's funny, they fell in love with it. They're going to build their first facility in Bridgeport. And this facility will hire 250 West Virginians, but it could be 2, 3, 4 phases, so it could be up to 1,000 people.
Is this the appliance that basically sits in your home?
Yeah, the Watt fuel
talk
cell.
a little bit about this. Yeah,
so this is a technology that, West Virginia's power go out a lot with all the storms and the mountainous area we have, right? Yeah. And so your natural gas doesn't go out, and so putting a fuel cell in your basement sits there as a small appliance next to your hot water tank, and it runs off of natural gas and basically can create electricity to run your house. And it sounds like your PC running. You'll hear a little fan. There's no generating sound that you hear from the big generator, and it can run 24/7. And so it's an enhancement to, I'll say it, the next generation of how do you keep your lights on all the time, right? Yeah. As people, that becomes more important to folks. And for us, what's exciting is to see it manufactured here in West Virginia by West Virginians and being part of sort of the future of what West Virginia energy looks like.
I mean, that's really top level innovation.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, and the folks that started the business came here, and they said to me when they were coming down here, they realized the last 3 engineers they had hired all graduated from WVU. This is before they even saw the site. They saw the site. It was a brownfield ready site. It had lots of energy, which was really important to them. And they saw, this is a good place to recruit people. Families will stay here. You can raise your kids. It has all the ingredients of, that businesses look at, which are that it's affordable and they can pay their employees a family sustaining job wage, and it's not going to cost them an outrageous amount of money.
What's the name of the project?
So this is Watt Fuel Cell. That's the name of the company. Yeah. They actually are a partner with us on Arch 2. We're going to learn about blending hydrogen in that aspect as well. So it's literally what I call the future of energy, but to have it here in West Virginia, and I just say it all the time, and to have it being made by people in West Virginia is really powerful.
Yeah, Morgan, I know that you have a passion for and a commitment to helping and do business with other West Virginia companies. I know that's very important to you. I've heard you speak on that. Yeah. When I think about Hope Gas and opportunities for entrepreneurs, what kind of advice would you give people that are thinking about starting a business? Maybe it's in the energy field that wants to do business with Hope Gas. What do you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'd say call Hope Gas, right? I've Jim, one of the messages I'd love to send is that we have a welcome mat, and I've told this to other technology businesses. We're willing to partner with you, experiment with, I'll call it disruptive solutions to how we do things, right? Yeah. We're open to that. We know the world's going to change. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but why not play a part in that? So one, you have an open door at Hope Gas. And two, what makes businesses successful in my mind is you got to have grit. It's something as simple as having passion, that you love what you do and you believe in it, but you got to have perseverance that obstacles are going to come, right? And life's not easy, but if you have both the passion and the commitment to what you're doing, to me, that's what it takes. It's a combination of both. And so call Hope Gas, partner with us.
Love it.
But you got to come with grit.
That's
come
awesome,
with grit.
man. I love it. So, we talk about leadership, and I know you've appeared on our Positively West Virginia Leadership Rediscovered podcast with Laura Siebold before. But talk about, from your perspective, what's one of the most important attributes of a successful business leader today?
It's funny because I think if you'd asked me this probably 15 years ago, I would have gave you a different answer.
Mm-hmm.
But I've learned, and that's one of the things I think all leaders we constantly learn. But honestly, it's listen, right? It's not tell people what to do. It's not explain every answer to every question. It's really listen. And honestly, as a leader, you're only as good as the people that work for you. So if you're focused on what you're trying to achieve as opposed to getting your people to focus on what you want to achieve, right? To me, it's not about you. In fact, if it's about you, you're not going to be a good leader.
Yeah.
If it's about the people that work for you, you have the possibility of being a leader. And to me, I have to remind myself I want to listen, I want to learn, and I want people to sort of become the best version of themselves. And they only do that if you empower them and make them feel safe that they can take risk and fail. And it's okay to fail.
Yeah, that's great wisdom, and I appreciate you sharing that. Morgan, we've covered a lot in our interview today, and I really appreciate you did some deep dives on some important subjects. Is there anything else you think our listeners should know about you or your story?
Yeah, the last piece of it will be is we're about to unleash on a advertising campaign, and hopefully, Jim, you and your listeners will enjoy it. It's really to tell the story about West Virginia, and we want to tell stories about our customers, not about Hope Gas. So we're going to feature things like West Virginia Medical and all the amazing research that's happening here in West Virginia. Yeah. We're going to talk about some of the businesses that are here in West Virginia, really cutting edge technology. And it's really to paint a picture that West Virginia today is so different than I think most people think, and I'll call it the perception. And we want to change people's perception in a positive way. Yeah. And I always tell people the best way to create I'll call it a marketing and a growth strategy is to educate the people here in West Virginia about all the wonderful things here, so that when people come here, they can feel it, right? Yeah. So we're you'll be seeing us on TV, on radio, on social media, coming out with a campaign ad, and our ad is called West Virginia is for Hope, right? And we love the name Hope because it talks about the future and I'll call it this positive feelings, and we like Hope Gas being a part of it. So
I love it. Morgan, how can our listeners learn more about you and Hope Gas?
Yeah, I mean, just, we have a website, so www.hopegas.com. Come to our website. Yeah. We post jobs there. We're always looking to hire good people. Awesome. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to find a way to open the door, there's contact information to reach out to us. It's an easy way for folks to open the door to Hope Gas.
I love it, man. Thanks so much for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate you. I think what Hope Gas is doing here in West Virginia is amazing, and you're a large part of that. So, Morgan, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Yeah, and thank you for letting us tell our story.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank our partners, Highmark West Virginia, Freedom Kia of Morgantown, Interaction Media, Storymaker, and our studio sponsor, Breezeline, for helping to share these positive stories. If you'd like to become a sponsor of the Positively West Virginia podcast, visit positivelywv.com/sponsor.
Folks, that's a wrap on another episode of Positively West Virginia. If you or someone you know would be a great guest on our show, drop us a note on our website at positivelywv.com. Of course, we appreciate your comments and support along the way. On behalf of our entire Positively West Virginia team, including our producer today, Mr. Hampton Hill behind the controls, I'm your host, Jim Matuga. Stay positive, West Virginia.